Uh, Spino here. This is a response to the defending champ, um, based off of um, some some of his recent videos that he's made, which is funny because this is kind of um, responseception again, because this is his videos are responses to videos made by TJ Kirk, the amazing atheist. So, once again, it just seems like responseception, right? But um, uh, I guess this is just a response to some of those videos and also some of the. I want to clarify, I guess, um, some of the things that we went over back and forth in the comments. Um, First of all, on when it comes to like gender roles, masculinity, and like um, femininity or whatever. Um, his first position, I want to address the thing of, oh, uh, are women happier than they were um, uh, in the 1950s? Because like uh, the 1950s were brought up a lot in both the defending champ David, um, I think his name is, and TJ Kirk about the 1950s. And yeah, I guess I would say that champ the women are better off now than they were in the 1950s. Um, back then women didn't really have much of an option to be anything else other than stay at home wives. Uh, uh, just a couple 2 months back, we almost elected the first uh, the first female president. Now she didn't win, um, but she would have never. She would have never even been given that opportunity. I guess my point is in the 1950s and um, back in the 1950s. Uh, hello. Uh, a white woman wouldn't even had the opportunity to run for president, let alone a half black, half Indian woman. So obviously it goes what in 1950 women. We're talking about women in the 1950s compared to now. Oh wow, someone from India is watching me. That's surprising. I am from Michigan. All right, I'm back. um, I need a thirsty. um, Women in the 1950s, right? They never would have been given that opportunity. Yeah, I'm back. Oh, hi from the someone from the UK. Wow. Um, or not the UK, the Ukraine. Excuse me. Um, um, I forgot my point. Oh, um, women were pretty much expected to be barefoot and pregnant, back then, and the defending champ could say, well, like maybe some of them, like that. I'm sure there was, right? I'm sure there are women back then we're probably just fine with the things are the things were back then, and there probably are women who would probably like that now. But that's who is that? Who invented uh, International Women's Day? That's interesting. Um, really, who is that? Who is maybe this makes me sound like a dumbass, but who is Claire Thompson? Is that how you say it? Uh, I'm a dumbass American, so I don't know shit about what happens outside my country. All right, but um, um, am I in India right now? No, I'm in the United States. It's um, uh, if I was in India, I'm sure it wouldn't be nearly as cold. Oh, Clara Tos Tospkin. Am I saying that right? Um, well, if not, it's uh, yeah, it's close enough, I guess. But the majority of women, the vast majority, the defending champ, because you like to play those semantics games. Well, not 100% of all women, hated it back then, but the vast majority, because otherwise, if with how things were, then why the feminist movements of the 1960s and 70s? What? Because you would think the feminist movements were a response to the sexism, the sexism of the 1950s and 40s and 30s and 1920s, etc. Pretty much all of human history. Uh, going back to the caveman days. Um, uh, Women were pretty much treated as second-class citizens, and that was why the feminist movement of the 60s and 70s happened. It was a response to the misogyny of the past. And you could say, oh, well, some women liked it how it was, but like the vast majority, once again, I'm kind of repeating myself, but I want to re-emphasize this. uh Most women back then, they didn't like it. That's why they protested, and that's why they fought for women's rights, and that's why we have women's rights to this day. And so, yeah, you could say like not everyone back then was unhappy. Well, not every man was happy back then. If you want to play that semantics game with me, I can play it right back. Defending champ, so we can go back and forth with that all day. But is it gonna get either of us anywhere? No. But the vast majority of women back then did not like it now, and they would not like it if we went back to how things were back then. And by the way, I don't know if you necessarily agree with this line of thinking, because you seem like a little more economically progressive, I guess I should say, compared to most other. I know you like to say you're like a '90s. You're not conservative. You're a '90s Democrat. But by today's standards, then you're still a conservative. um, just even if you want to say, oh, like the standards now has gone so far to the left, like anyone seems like a conservative in comparison, which I don't agree with, obviously, but even by that standard, you're a conservative now. But um, most conservatives I've talked to aren't as economically open-minded, I guess, as you seem to be in your defending champ. So I don't know if you necessarily have this position, but a lot of American conservatives, they want to bring back the the conservatism, the social conservatism of the 1950s. Obviously, the nuclear family, the man does all the work and brings home the bacon, and the woman, she stays home so she can cook the bacon, right? Well, the only reason that was economically feasible uh to begin with is because while while socially, yes, the 1950s was very conservative in America. uh I don't know if you've done your research on this, or by you, I don't mean necessarily you, the defending champ, but I mean conservatives in general. But I don't know if they've done um, research on this. But yes, while the 1950s was very socially conservative, economically, they were very, very progressive left from an economic standpoint. I mean, they much were. I mean, first of all, the social safety net was significantly stronger than it was today, and that's because Reagan and his cronies did everything they could to gut our social safety net. Now Trump is about to finish what he's about to finish with what Reagan started. He's gonna finish off what's left of our social safety net. Um, and back then, inflation was significantly lower, obviously, and but not only that, in proportion to what wages are now and what wages were then, adjusting for inflation, wages were significantly higher back then in comparison to what they are today. So like, prices are higher, wages are lower, and American conservatives, they want to bring back the conservatism of the 1950s without even bringing back the economic progressivism uh, um, of the 19 of the 1950s. Who do I support? Uh, in and with who? Ryan McCabe. Wait, do you mean Israel Palestine? Really, no side, if I'm being honest, because I don't like Hamas, but also I hate the Israeli government, and I think what they're doing is a modern day. Uh, uh, some people might think I'm being hyperbolic when I'm saying this, but I'm really not. I think the Israeli government is committing uh, a modern day genocide, a modern day Holocaust. That was the word I was looking for. I think the Israeli government is committing a modern day Holocaust against the Palestinian people, and they're bombing cities in areas where Hamas has control of Gaza, but they don't have control of most of the rest of Palestine. So they But so they're not all of Palestine, but Israel is bombing areas where Hamas isn't even at. And they're claiming it's in response to the October the terrorist attack that was committed by Hamas over a year ago, which is ridiculous. And in the U.S., well, I wish I could say I don't support either side on that either, but uh, out of the lesser, really the two, we have third parties in the United States. Like we have the Green Party, and we have the Libertarian Party, and a few other like parties, but really the only parties that have any real power in terms of like um elected officials and like being able to actually implement policy. It's really only two parties, and that's the Republican Party, which is the more conservative or right wing party. Although recently it's gone much further right in recent years. I feel it's become an extremist right wing party, almost neo-fascistic, even uh, with their far right wing rhetoric, and the Democrats, which are supposed to be the um, left wing or liberal party, is really more like a centrist um, conservative party. So it's almost like we have, if you're more like left wing like me, we don't have much of a real choice here in the U.S. Um, uh, it's either the more set like the choice between the center right party, the Democrats, and the extremist right party, the Republicans, right? So if you're on the left like me, we don't really have much of an option, but just out of necessity and like the lesser of two evils, I go with the Democrats. But really, I don't like any of the political parties, or at least the two. I don't like the two mainstream ones. If I'm being 100% honest with you, but just necessity, the Democrats. Um, and back to the Israel and Palestine thing. Uh, yeah, I don't like Hamas, but I don't think um, innocent babies and uh, grandmas and grandpas and so far and whatever. I don't think innocent people deserve to be bombed because of the actions of Hamas. So uh, I don't really consider myself on either side. But if you put a gun to my head and forced to choose, I would go with Palestine, because I know uh, like Hamas just didn't poof out of thin air. First off, like Hamas was a response to constant overreach and in true and constant um, uh, constant disregard, I guess you could say, for the um, Palestinian borders and just how bold they were when it comes to um, settling and like taking over places of land that formerly belonged to the Palestinians, and uh, I don't want to say they brought October 7th on themselves, because I don't think people, you'll never catch me like saying we should punish civilians, for the actions of their government or the actions of whoever, some type of elected officials or whatever, because they don't, the people don't control what the people they put in, they don't control what they do. They can say like, oh, they shouldn't have put those people in to begin with. Yeah, that's true, but they don't influence. They don't influence. The average people don't make decisions. So like, I don't believe in collective punishment for the actions of a few, is what I'm saying. So, if you point a gun to my head, I guess I would go with Palestine. And I feel like I really went off talking. This barely feels like a response to defending champ anymore, but back to that now. Where the fuck was I? Where the fuck was I? Oh yes, women in the 1950s were not overall were not that happy. If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't have been a women's, a feminist movement to begin with. So the fact that there was kind of proves my point that obviously women were not happy back then. And so they fought for their rights and they got them. And so like this idea like, oh, plenty of women were happy back then. Like, yeah, that's probably the case yet again. But once again, the vast majority, I feel like I'm saying that over and over, but once again, I want to reiterate. I can't talk to put it in your head that reiterate. That's the word I was looking for. If I fucking pronounced it correctly, if which I probably didn't, but fuck it, screw it. Am I back? All right, I'm back. Yeah, the vast majority of women didn't like it back then, and they wouldn't like it if we went back to that now. And yeah, I guess that I'm back again. I was considering responding to more of the defending pamp, the defending champs, like various points he made throughout his videos, and like the things we discussed already in the comment section. But this video is already over 25 minutes long, and I think I addressed the main point I was going for anyway about women in the 1950s and how it should be obvious to pretty much anyone that women overall were not doing good prior in the 1950s or really any time prior. But you love your semantic games, defending champ. You really do. So I figured I'd play along and indulge your little games for a bit, so just so I could address that point. But yeah, subscribe to this channel. the defending champ. I am genuinely interested in hearing your response, even though I did talk a bit of smack to you in this video, but that's kind of that's typical for the two of us, right? We like to grind each other's gears. I like to give you shit, you like to give me shit, so whatever. I am interested in hearing your response, either in the comments, or feel free to make a response video of your own. Everyone else, feel free to subscribe yet again. Comment down below, like this video, share this video. Even if you thought this video was a piece of shit, or you think I'm like a fucking dumbass or whatever, like, share it with your friends to be like, hey, look at this dumbass making this dumbass points. Let's all point and laugh at him together. Because even that helps my channel out. So like, bad publicity is better than no publicity at all, right? So yeah, comment down below, subscribe, share, like, blah 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 blah, and see you next time. Bye.